I'm Robert Fuller, and I'm going to share my journey, how I bring wildlife art and film to people around the world. So this is me as a child, and I spent most of my time actually outside looking at wildlife, and these are pictures of me going fishing with my brother and catching lobsters. So as I became more interested in wildlife, I started documenting it by painting and drawing, and this is what I was doing age 14. Doing really detailed drawings, and by the time I was 15, that's what I decided I wanted to do as a career, be a wildlife artist. So after 4 years at art school, I set up as a wildlife artist, and by my mid-20s, I'd actually built my own gallery. And here I was exhibiting a wide range of work and getting thousands of visitors a year. But it wasn't just the gallery I was interested in, I was actually interested in the landscape around me. So I was planting wildflower meadows, building nest boxes for the owls and kestrels. So here's a video showing how I converted a rundown farmstead into a wildlife haven. That was absolutely magic. So at this stage, my main focus was the art and actually studying these wonderful animals that lived around me. So I've always had a soft spot for kingfishers and really love them because they're so colourful. And this was a mallard duck with the freshly hatched ducklings on a nearby pond. So this was a really interesting project, studying this peregrine on an industrial site. So I live quite close to the coast, so we've got seabirds like these puffins, and they're always a beautiful subject to paint. So people often ask me how I combine my artwork with the filming I do today. So this video shows how I got to know some rescue badgers, which led on to this painting. I've been watching badgers for years, but it wasn't until I built a set in the garden that I realised what happened underground. I heard about these badger cubs being handed into a rescue centre, so I finished off my set in the garden that I was building and moved these guys in, and it was incredible watching them, not only above ground, but really important to me watching them underground, which is something I'd never seen before. But what I really liked as well was when they were asleep at rest, badgers just curled up together. And that was really special because they almost form as one, interweaving with one another. Badgers' sleeping positions have really amused me while I've been watching these three badgers in the set. But sleeping as a circle is very efficient use of retaining their body heat. I absolutely love painting badgers, and I've painted them dozens of times now. But this is a really different type of painting for me, them curled up underground in the set. We're painting badgers at rest here, but we've got to actually get a sense of that in the painting. So I'm going to take you through some of my favourite subjects, and these became really popular online too. So this is one of the biggest projects I've been working on, Kingfishers. So this is an artificial nesting bank that I made, and luckily the kingfishers took it up and started nesting in it. So I started this project 6 years ago, and then it was a photographic project. With this unique setup, I was able to capture every stage of the process, from egg laying to the young chicks. And that went right the way through to seeing the kingfishers fledging. So after a successful photographic project, I wanted to capture this whole process on film. And here's a short video of some of the results. So another favourite subject of mine is barn owls, and over the years I've done a lot of conservation work with them, building literally hundreds of nest boxes. Here's a clip of Gylfi and Finn, my local pair, which just shows how charismatic they can be. By the end of May, Gylfi's been brooding for nearly a month, and she's getting restless. Later, she leaves the eggs and heads out to stretch her wings. This gives Finn a chance to take a closer look. He decides this egg should be over here. He can hear a chick inside. The hatching process has begun. Gylfi soon returns and isn't best pleased with his handiwork. They're real characters, aren't they? Next we're going to look at their neighbours, the Tawny Owls. And this is a really special pair. I actually use them to surrogate other chicks that are lost. This has been really successful, and some years I'm able to get as many as 6 chicks back into the wild. This next clip is about a Tawny Owl called Luna and how I surrogated 2 chicks into a nest. Tawny Owl Luna is caring for 2 young chicks, but they're not hers. Sadly, Luna's own eggs failed, and I didn't know why. But after passing a light through them, it was clear the eggs weren't viable and would never hatch. Then 2 tawny owl chicks were found and had to be rescued. All of these tawny owls were struggling, but luckily I was able to help. So the owlets are in the nest and just listen to them calling. I've just got to watch and wait now and hope Luna accepts them. Here she comes. She's coming straight in. And look at that, she's brooding them straight away. This is absolutely incredible. I couldn't have hoped for a better outcome. That was one of my favourite moments with the tawny owls, but another special bird that lives in my garden are these kestrels. And this was a particularly special story, how this male kestrel defied the odds and raised his 6 chicks alone. This has been a truly unique story. I've followed this kestrel family all year, witnessing every moment as the pair chose their nest, laid a clutch of eggs, and welcomed 6 healthy chicks. Tragedy struck when Mrs. Kes disappeared, and 3 chicks were taken into my care. But Mr. Kes stepped up, defying all the textbooks as he learnt to feed his family. And eventually they could be reunited. Mr. Kes has worked so hard to care for his chicks, with a bit of help from me. Despite a challenging start, all 6 chicks have fledged. What a success story! So I've been following the birds of prey in my garden, but slightly further afield in a wood nearby are these red kites. And this was a project I've been wanting to do for years, and last year I made it a reality. This is an award-winning photograph that I took, and these are sparrowhawks, my next subject. Now these are a fearsome predator with a really intense yellow eye, but I saw a really different side to them when I started filming them on a nest. So swans are quite a common bird in the UK, and usually I pick more challenging subjects, but when I started filming these swans on the nest, I just saw how special they are. cygnets are nibbling on some blossom. That's super cute. So it's amazing to see how my channels have grown over the years, but it wasn't always that way, and I'm going to take you back to 2010 to show you how it all started. So I started my social media channels back in 2010, and this caught the eye of the BBC, and before I knew it, I was co-presenting short films about wildlife. So a few years later, I was then involved with a worldwide programme co-produced by PBS in America and the BBC, and this was A Natural World about stoats and weasels. And by February 2020, we nearly had 100,000 people following our social media, which we were delighted about at the time, but this was just the start of a bigger project. So just as things were starting to get going, March 2020, the UK went into a lockdown, and we really had to start thinking about restructuring the business because we were selling into many shops around the country that were actually closed at the time. So we really started to concentrate on our social media. We started a newsletter called Solace in Nature for our customers. And with all the TV companies locked down as well, unable to travel, this actually gave me an opportunity, and I was then presenting my own short films for the BBC One show. So it got to August 2020, and this is one of our biggest achievements. We started live streaming our wildlife cameras. So we had wildlife viewers being able to see special behaviour like this, and this is Gilfie the barn owl, just as her eggs were hatching. So just over the space of one summer, our YouTube subscribers literally doubled. So as we were getting more and more people watching our live stream, this brought its own problems. We had some people coming on the chat causing trouble. So we brought in a team of voluntary moderators from around the world that just kept an eye on the chat and just made it a really pleasant place for people to be. And with this, the community really started to grow. And people got really involved, even voting for the favourite names of all the owls. In September 2020, we hit the second lockdown, and we actually started a new project then, doing a lockdown live. So this was a daily broadcast where we brought educational content to people all around the world, and we also tried to make it a little bit of fun. So at this stage, the channels were absolutely booming, but what made this really special for us here was actually seeing all of the letters and emails that we were getting of people that really appreciated what we were doing. We had all sorts of things from parents with autistic children. The only time they could get them to sit still was watching our videos on our channel. And it was really interesting to see how wildlife can bring people together from all walks of life, different religions, different countries, and actually start learning and appreciating each other. And this was one of our collaborations with a bigger channel, The Dodo, and this received 49 million views, the story about Whisper and Stuart, the stoats are hand-reared. With our channel growing so fast, we actually needed help, so we partnered with Ritual Networks to advise us on best practice going forward. The next stage was working with Bridge Digital to take my content to China. This gave me a chance to reach a whole new audience, and we've had such positive feedback from our Chinese viewers. With lockdown lifted, I was able to travel again, and this was our first international film to reach over 1 million views on YouTube. We started engaging with our community more and more, and as one of the barn owls was hatching her eggs, we asked where people were watching from, and we got an incredible response. And it was amazing to see all the different places that people were watching around the world. One amazing response was from Niels, a bartender in the Netherlands. The big screen in the bar usually showed sports, but Niels decided to show our live stream instead, and people were fascinated. It was stories like this that led to a media storm. I ended up doing back-to-back interviews for over a week, right the way across the world. So at this stage, I've got over 1.2 million followers across platforms, which gave me the confidence to go to industry events and start approaching some bigger companies I wanted to work with. Off the back of this, I was able to start to work with some big companies like Sony, DJI, and Swarovski Optics. At this time, I also met Wildfoot Travel, a UK-based tour operator, and we started a partnership back in October 22, and since then I've been able to travel to Panama, Svalbard in the Arctic, and also Zimbabwe. So that brings us up to date. Who would have thought doing a few videos on YouTube would lead to all of this, but it's been an incredible journey, and now I'm here speaking to you today. So we've definitely got an exciting future ahead. And what I want to talk to you next is about our international travel. I've been lucky enough to travel all over the world, visiting every continent. This short film is from the French Alps. Most people go here to ski in the winter, but I go there to see the wildlife. This is absolutely incredible. I've got an ibex right in front of me down here feeding, and there's a few females coming down the cliff too. I can't believe this after 3 days of looking. I've got the smallest owl in Europe, the pygmy owl right in front of me now. Those little pygmy owls were really hard to find, but we're going to go further afield now to Alaska. I travelled here in 2022 and I was lucky enough to see the bears feasting on salmon. I'm Robert Fuller, wildlife artist and filmmaker, and this is Katmai National Park. The salmon run is on, and there's bears everywhere out here. The next international trip was to Panama, and I started this collaboration when visiting the bird fair in the UK. I love watching owls wherever I am in the world, so it's great to see this spectacled owl out in the wild in Panama. So this is absolutely amazing. I've got a very rare crested eagle. This is incredible watching this young eagle. It's learning how to hunt up there, actually grasping at all the vines. I'm in the rainforest of Panama, and this is a harpy eagle nest. This place is absolutely amazing. There's a slough in the tree here, and I can see a little arm. She's got a baby tucked away in there. They're actually touching noses and licking each other. My next trip was one extreme to the next, from the heat of the jungle to the freezing temperatures of the Arctic, and one animal that I'd always wanted to see was the polar bear. I'm Robert Fuller and I'm in Svalbard in the Norwegian Arctic. So the female bear's just on the edge of the snow up there. She's got her 2 cubs with her. Wow, that was absolutely amazing. What a sight. Thank you for watching, and I can't wait to bring you more wildlife content in the future. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe to see more. Here's a taste of what you'll enjoy seeing on this channel.